already mentioned, my name is Sandro, although Scott here calls me George for some reason. I don't know why.
He said his name was George.
I come from Georgia.
That's
once
right.
again, I need to. Yeah, well, that might make sense why you call me George. I come from a studio named Jumperfall, and I'm making a game about a skeleton driving a coffin around the world. But before I go into that, let me tell you a short story about how our studio came to be. So, the Minister of Internal Affairs himself, of Georgia, decided to make a first-person shooter one day to kickstart the games industry in the country because games industry is so awesome. And he decided to make a first-person shooter in UDK, Unreal Engine, straight out of the box, out of nothing. So he brings some consultants from Electronic Arts, does the screening, and gathers best professionals in the country to do the job. So our team happened to be a part of that team, which was a 20-25-man team working on that game. So within 7 months, we made him a fully fledged first-person shooter with campaign that generated over 1 million of downloads and attracted a lot of attention on Epic's forums. This followed up quickly with outsourced deals with Microsoft, Kickside, and even a full game project called Last Day on Earth. But then we had a governmental change in our country, so the new government came. And as happens in our countries, when the new government comes, the old government kind of goes to jail. So that kind of worked against our studio, and nobody had time to kind of fund us. So we decided, why don't we pour our industry leading engine knowledge and multi-platform experience into our own studio and create something on our own. So we did. That's how Jumperfall was born. Now, let me go back to the coffin game, which, yes, could I have it sound? So, this is what we call unorthodox runner. Your Simon, the skeleton, was brought back to life by a certain someone. Now, in order to stay alive, Simon needs to constantly electrocute himself from the metal rails on the side of the roads. Now, there's good stuff and bad stuff on these rails. The good stuff you need to crash or pick up, bad stuff you avoid. Doing this is simple. The whole screen is divided into 2 buttons. When pressed, Simon disconnects and you avoid the obstacle. When released, Simon connects back again. The core gameplay of the game is to control 2 lanes at the same time and manage your energy bar in a hectic and fast-paced gameplay. So, what's unique about Coffin Rush? It has an adaptive difficulty, meaning the more precisely player plays, the faster they accelerate. This way the game can adapt to both casual and more hardcore mid-core players who know the game well, so they don't have to wait until the game gets fast enough. It also gives the breathing space for new players to not lose instantly and kind of get used to the game. Another thing what we're doing with this is we're tackling one of the main issues of runners, which is retention in the long term. So, according to our research, people tend to lose interest after a month of playing the runner and starting from the same point again and again. They have more coins, more experience, but they don't really feel their progress. So we provide players with a unique dungeon in which they can craft, upgrade, decorate, and feel and see their progress in the game. This way, this opens up a new retention and possession opportunities for us because this mechanic is common in other genres and want to bring it in runners because we believe that runners are underserved and there is a lot of potential to innovate in them. Those are unorthodox gameplay. So speaking of monetization, what we actually sell in the game is consumables, characters, outfits, and various upgrades, including no-brainer items like coin doublers, for example. We have no vanity items. Everything sold in the game has a useful value for the player. Even outfits have purpose. To boost the social element of our game, we have weekly leaderboard integration combined with every play. So users can make an awesome run, record their play, and share it with their friends and the rest of the world. Also, we have competitive missions, which means the game takes 2 players at random, matches them against each other, and kind of puts them in asynchronous multiplayer, telling them, okay, here's the goal, whoever first reaches it gets this reward. In addition to all common retention mechanics, we have a wacky storyline to tell, which we tell incrementally to keep kind of users wondering, and the aforementioned dungeon mechanic. Our goal with this game is to do a soft launch in autumn, reach a retention of at least 40, 25, 15, and then follow up with the global launch in first quarter of 2015 on all mobile platforms. Before I finish, let me quickly mention our other game, which we already have out on Ouya console. When Ouya came out, we were really excited about the indie-friendly console available to everyone, so we wanted to jump in. So we did. And the game did fairly well on the Ouya, but unfortunately the market for Ouya didn't really grow that much. So now we're remaking this game and porting it to mobile. By remaking, I mean we're adding more RPG elements, repainting the entire game so it will look prettier, and it will also leverage the time-proven mechanics of classical RPGs with weapons that will break, that will grow with you. You can upgrade them, craft them, and browse the levels more than one time because you have replayability this way. And that will be it about us. Thank you very much for your attention. My name is Sandro, and I come from Georgia.
Questions for Sandro, please.
You can also call me George if you want. Sure.
You're fetching it.
Do you need money or something?
Yes, predominantly for Coffee Rush. As I said, we're looking for publishers and investors. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
like how much?
For Coffee Rush, for soft launch, we would need about 100,000 to test the game and tweak it until making the global launch. So during the soft launch or the tweaking phase, we could use this money to acquire more users and polish the game. Sure.
I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, just real quick comment. What I liked about Coffee Rush is I got a real clear sense of what the gameplay would be, and then your narrative showed that really well in terms of like what was unique about that particular run.
I have a playable version here, so we can play it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dan,
Anyone have? Yes.
Where'd you get the 40, 25, 15?
That's a benchmark that we want to kind of base our goal on and surpass it.
Like why are those the numbers? Why do you think those are the right numbers?
Well, that's like an industry standard, I would say, which kind of means that the game is potential to actually put out and support. Anything lower than that, I wouldn't really bother with that.
Do you have like a daily revenue per user target?
For
Like
this
that
game?
target? Yeah.
Not until we see the retention, and then after we see the retention, we can work on monetization. We have the clear system how the monetization will work, but it's only for us. We don't know for sure how users will react. So once we put the game and the retention is good, then we can tweak that and base our goal on that. Yep.
The persistency of the dungeon, is that just basically where you start the game? Or
Yes, that's the part of the menu. So when the game starts up, you're in the dungeon, and when you click, you start from the dungeon. But it also has rooms, so you can click around and browse in various rooms and see pedestals with figurines and shelves, for example, with collectibles. You can it's like your home base. And as you progress through the game, you're building it, you're making it better. You can also decorate it. So it's.
Does what you do in that impact the gameplay in terms of as you build it out, it boosts the gameplay somehow, or is it more?
Yes, like for example, let's take the collectibles. Collectibles are usually just something you collect and then it gives you an achievement. For us, collectibles is a way to unlock new worlds. For example, the video you saw, this is the Mushroom Village. So let's say if you want to get to another world, say Egypt, you need to assemble a Sphinx figurine. And for Sphinx figurine, you need like 5 pieces of the figurine. Once you have them, you go to the dungeon, to the crafting room, and you have to assemble the pieces correctly. Once you get the figurine, you unlock the new world. So you kind of do those stuff, that stuff of interactions in the dungeon. Besides seeing like all your progress and.
What's your target demographic and your estimated CPI?
So target demographic and
Your target cost per install. What are you targeting?
cost per install.
Yeah.
So the demographic is males, females, equally. We had a courtesy from Yuzu giving us data about runners, and the gender demographic is very equal in that sense. And the main age group would be from 15 to 45. Sorry, what was the second? Cost per install?
Yeah.
I think that depends on the market. By the time when we launch the game, what the market will dictate, the price kind of will depend on that. So we already are in talks with several ad providers. We had again thanks to Game Founders, we had one-on-one meetings with them, so we kind of know who to refer to. But then again, it depends on the market.
Need to wrap up there. Thank you very much.